Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 5. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says a COVID-19 coordinating task force will be appointed this week. A detailed response plan will also be presented for approval to the National Disaster Risk Management Council, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The Health Minister was making an address to the nation last evening. Dr. Tufton said government continued to strengthen the health system's readiness while collaborating on a wide cross-sector scale to minimize exposure. He is meanwhile urging Jamaicans to play their role in preserving public health.
We must therefore work together to maintain a high level of vigilance in our surveillance and response measures. It is also now more important than ever that each of us maintain a distance of at least 2 meters from persons who are coughing or sneezing, frequently perform hand hygiene by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water or using a hand sanitizer if hands are not visibly soiled, cover our mouths and noses with a tissue when coughing or sneezing and discarding it, and avoid touching our faces unnecessarily. Yes, COVID-19 is a disease that can cause death, but in the majority of cases, those affected by the virus survive.
Global data has shown that the novel coronavirus COVID-19 has spread to more than 60 countries, with more than 87,000 confirmed cases and close to 3,000 reported deaths up to March 1. There are reports of COVID-19 confirmed cases in 3 Caribbean countries, namely the Dominican Republic, St. Bart's, and St. Martin. So far, Jamaica has had no cases of COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Port Authority of Jamaica and relevant agencies are now in receipt of interim guidelines for the docking of cruise ships in light of the global outbreak of COVID-19. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says the measure was necessary to address concerns from the cruise ship industry as to Jamaica's requirements for admission to the island's ports. The guidelines indicate that any passenger or crew who have traveled within the last 14 days to any country for which a landing restriction is in place will not be allowed to disembark. Jamaica has travel restrictions in place for China, Italy, South Korea, Singapore, and Iran. The Health Ministry says the decision to allow other passengers or crew to disembark will be dependent on a review of ill persons on board. To facilitate this, the interim guidelines require cruise ships to present critical information for assessment and decision-making. These include a copy of medical logs since the start of the voyage and travel history for all persons in the medical log. Also required is a temperature log of all persons, which should include the last 24 hours prior to arrival, as well as for persons traveling from the countries with travel restrictions within the past 14 days. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is reiterating the need for countries to support sustainable and resilient transformation in the face of local, regional, and global changes in energy and climate. Mr. Holness was addressing the opening of the 4th Energy and Climate Partnership of the Americas ministerial meeting in Montego Bay last week. He says countries must apply the mindset of accepting change and possible disruption, as well as embracing and planning for it in all aspects of government.
And if we are agile, if we accept that there will be disruption, and we put in place the policies and the measures to adapt, to mitigate, then we can turn the uncertainty of change, the risks of disruption, into opportunities of the future.
The Prime Minister says Jamaica has taken a number of steps towards building its resilience. These include phasing in the implementation of measures for disaster risk reductions and strategic disaster finance planning. Mr. Holness also highlights that Jamaica now enjoys a mix of solar power plants, wind farms, and hydroelectricity, in addition to an increasing proportion of LNG-generated power over traditional heavy fuel.
Reducing reliance on the centralized energy grid is one of the mitigation measures that we have taken in terms of building resilience. In creating market conditions, we will start the implementation of a grant from the Green Climate Fund to support the assessment and development of the first ever Caribbean green bond on the stock market.
10,000 permanent jobs are expected to be created from the construction of the Sugarcane Bay Resort in St. Anne. Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground on Friday for the $1 billion facility. The multi-resort development is to add approximately 4,700 rooms to the local tourism industry and attract about 375,000 visitors to the island annually. In welcoming the investment, Prime Minister Holness stressed the need for more local products and services to be offered within the tourism industry.
We are strongly nationalists and we defend our culture and our people. And I'm saying it in the hearing of people who are investing, that the Jamaican culture is the reason why people will jump on a plane and fly several thousand miles to get here. And that must be properly treated and properly featured in our product.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the investment represents a new chapter for St. Anne's tourism output to the overall economy.
St. Anne has been for us the third largest tourism destination. And much of the investment that has taken place over the last 3 years and more have focused more on the west and northwest. It's been Trelawney, St. James, and Westmoreland, Hanover, and that mix.
The resort also represents the first major investment under the country's multi-agency shovel-ready program. The program seeks to directly assist investors by obtaining development approvals, carrying out capacity studies, assessing appropriate land utilization, and installing preliminary infrastructure. Employers and employees in Western Jamaica now have access to improved services resulting from the construction of the new Industrial Dispute Tribunal IDT office. The facility was officially opened by Labour and Social Security Minister Shahini Robinson in Montego Bay recently.
It's an important step in unlocking the door for justice in relations to labour disputes in Western Jamaica. The opening of this new facility gives credence to the seriousness with which this government views as a stable industrial relations climate. We want a stable industrial climate.
She indicated that data had shown that caseloads at the Western Labour Office account for approximately 1/3 of the overall cases island-wide. And finally, Pernell Charles Jr. is the new Member of Parliament for the Clarendon South-Eastern constituency. Mr. Charles won Monday's by-election with 6,845 votes over independent candidate Derek Lambert's 738 ballots. Pernell Charles Jr. replaces Rudyard Spencer, who resigned in February. He will be sworn in at a later date. And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.